15 to 19. This was the scene again when Jesus asked Peter, "Do you love me?" 3 times. Look at verse 22. We'll start with 21. John 21, 21. When Peter saw him, he said to Jesus, that him was John the Evangelist. "Lord, what about this man?" Pointing to John. And Jesus said to Peter, "If it is my will that he remain until I come, what is that to you?" That was the very word of Jesus. That's my will, that he remain until I come. So what is that to you? Why are you asking? Are you questioning me? The saying spread abroad among the brethren that this disciple was not to die. So Jesus said that, prophesied that John would not die. That's the meaning of the word of Jesus saying, "It is my will that this man walking behind us will remain. He will not die." Yet Jesus did not say to him that he was not to die. "But if it's my will that he remain until I come, what is that to you?" Oh, what is that to you? It's none of your business, right? That's what I was saying. And look at verse 24. "This is the disciple who is bearing witness to these things, and who has written these things, and we know that his testimony is true." But there are many other things which Jesus did. If all those were, every one of them, to be written, I suppose that the world itself could not contain the books that would be written. Beautiful, beautiful. You know what this is saying? You know what John is saying? Not everything is here. Not everything is here. Not everything is it's right there. This reminds me of one talk I heard. He's a Monsignor, a priest, and he was talking about Matthew 19, the marriage relationship. And we got these couples listening, and then if you read Matthew 19, it says, "Wives, be submissive to your husbands." You remember that? And then the husband says, you see, it's in the gospel, it's in the book, it's in the Bible. And then Monsignor said, "Look, it doesn't end there though. Husbands, you must love your wives as Jesus loves the Holy Mother Church." Oh. What does it mean to be submissive to your spouse?
Well, clearly it means when your husband snaps his fingers and says, "Bring my pipe, bring my slippers," that I should do that immediately.
X.
You wish.
X. Because if that's the way you think about what Matthew 19 says, the wives will be like doormat. they'll be stepped on at will. And they have no say whatsoever. But that's not what it is. Because marriage is actually a partnership. It's a partnership. Equal. Did you read that, Lourdes? The wife is not above. The wife is not under par, level. Love one another as I've loved you, so he says. So to be submissive means to have equal contribution to all decisions, equal contributions. And of course, loving is, you know what loving means? To die for. Is your spouse ready and able to die for you? Oh, that's a different story now. To die for a spouse? There's another question here related. If you can save but one, your child or your spouse, who would you save? They're both sinking in a quicksand. You can save only one. Who will you save? Your child or your spouse?
My child.
I want your answer.
I have a funny one. You can, with your spouse, you can always make another child.
Did you subscribe? Do you subscribe to that?
What?
Save your spouse and then make another baby. And let the baby swing. That's unconscionable. Okay. There's no right or wrong answer there. There's no right or wrong answer. You have to ask the psychologists. The Bible says you must love all, right? That's really I would say a trick question, per se. Because there's no right or wrong answer to that. You will save whoever can be saved. Right? Anyway, at the very end of John 21, that's when Jesus says, follow me. That is after, when, I think I've talked about this before, John 21, when, remember Eros and Agape. I'm not sure this for them too. When a movie is erotic, what comes to mind?
Grease.
Yes.
Maybe you mean neurotic or something. Erotic, full of love. Eros is love, it's kind of love. It's a kind of love. Now, when Jesus asked Peter, do you love me, first time, Jesus was asking for agape love. But Peter was ready to give only Eros. Eros means, yeah, I love you, but I'm not ready to die for you. You see the difference? Here you're ready to die, but here no. The second time Jesus asked Peter, do you love me? The same situation. Jesus was asking for agape. Peter was giving Eros. And then he became somehow disappointed because Jesus insisted on asking him, do you love me? How would you feel if your husband or your wife keeps asking you, do you love me? I told you! Would you be somehow aggravated too? Now with Peter, remember the difference between these two. You're ready to die? You're not. The third time Jesus asked, you know what Jesus was asking for? Because remember, Jesus could see our hearts, he could see our minds. What Jesus was asking the third time was, can you give me Eros love? And that's when Peter gave the agape love. And that's when Jesus said, follow me. It's so beautiful. If you understood John 21, that's what it's all about. Eros or agape. Which one are you willing to give for him? Are you willing to die for him? Jesus is asking you and me, do you love me? Remember, he owns you and me. The flip side of this word, joy. Jesus owns you. Are you willing to give him Eros?